Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video is gonna be one that I have been contemplating doing for some time now, but like when I did my cancer story, it's taken me a lot to get to this point to film this video. So today is Bell's Let's Talk Day, and its own awareness of mental health. And I feel that this video is really going to reflect on my mental health and how I've been dealing with since surgery, on things that I didn't realize that were affecting me. In my heart, I want to post more about it, but it's a little bit traumatic and it gives me a lot of anxiety thinking about it. I also go, the time you see this, I am filming this a few days in advance, but I am going for my checkup. I have to go for 5 years to my oncologist. He's an hour and a half away. And I have been anxious and it brings up a lot of emotions. I try not to get emotional right now. And it is stressful. And as much as I want to be an advocate for it, it is Cervical Cancer Awareness Month. That is part of the reason why I'm making this video with the Mental Health Day. I feel like it's a good combination of both, and it's hard. So if you're new to my channel and have found your way to my channel and maybe not have gone back, this was, I think, my third video that I did. I am a cervical cancer survivor. In 2015, I was diagnosed with an invasive type of cervical cancer in May, and by July 15th, I had a partial hysterectomy to remove my fallopian tubes, my uterus, my cervix, and all the lymph nodes down in my pelvic area. I have been cancer-free to this date. I'm hoping for another good outcome when I go up to Moncton. I expect the same. They said that it is like a 95% that you'll never get cancer again if I had the partial hysterectomy. If I had not done anything, I had a cancerous tumor removed through a LEEP procedure where they zapped a piece off of my cervix. And the time I had my surgery, I had another cancerous tumor that had produced in my cervix. So it would have been through my lymph nodes and through my body, and it was a deadly type of cancer, but luckily, due to me going to my regular Pap test, I was able to catch it before it formed anything, and luckily it hadn't gone through my lymph nodes. That's why they took them out to test them. So thankful for that. It is very hard at 29 to be told that you'll never be able to have children. The type of cervical cancer I had has only become known in the last 10 years and is usually found in women over 40. I was 29. The problem with and why people think that they don't need to go for Pap tests, that you would have symptoms if you had cancer, the only symptom I can say I had was that I was fatigued more, but I thought it was that I just didn't have the same energy. I still could get through my day, but I was tired more. But that was my only symptom. I didn't have any of the discharge that you could have. I didn't have really any of the bleeding that I'm aware of. I had spotting, but that's been regular my whole life. So I didn't have any symptoms to show that I was having it. The only way they found it was by the swab of a Pap test. That's why I say it's so important to go for yours. It's uncomfortable, it's awkward, it's slightly painful, but not really. And I really think it is worth doing because it saved my life. So that's why I want to make this video. January is a really hard month for me. I mentally am down on myself. I don't talk to a lot of people outside of work. I don't extend out to my friends. I don't extend out to my family much. I keep to myself a lot, and it's hard because my birthday's in January as well. But I really keep to myself. I don't like to leave my house. It makes me anxious. I have a hard time going to do things. I actually did go out for my birthday, so I was quite impressed with myself. I spent a lot of time with just my husband, my dog, and I, and I'm having a hard time putting myself out in other situations. I mean, most people will call it the winter blues, the seasonal. It's the most depressing, it's saddening, whatever. But I always found myself feeling really sad and really down. The days are getting shorter and the weather's getting colder and more rain and freezing rain and snow, and it's none of the stuff I like. And honestly, I have a lot of hard times trying to leave and making it through a day. Some days I don't even want to get dressed. Some days I cry myself to sleep. Some days I don't even want to walk my dog. I don't want to do anything. One aspect that has helped me going and kept me mentally sane is the gym. People think I'm crazy. I'm always saying, oh, I gotta work out, I gotta do this. It's not because I want to look phenomenal and have a six-pack. It's the mental release and the mental stress of my day. If I don't have my workout in, I'm a person you don't want to be around. It throws off everything. I just need to release tension and my frustrations and my angers. And the gym is my release and my self-medicating way for me to continue on in my days. Yes, I have my health in my life, and I'm thankful each day that I have it. It doesn't make it easier, and it takes a lot for me. I have to keep pushing past. A lot of my friends are having children right now, and I have a grandbaby, and there's a lot of emotions because as a female, I really have a desire to have a child. I go back and forth between wanting surrogacy and not having surrogacy because I don't know how mentally I can handle someone else carrying my child. As easy, everyone's like, oh, you'll have a baby. It's still something I can't give my husband. Sorry, I was trying not to get emotional. I can't myself carry a child for my husband and I. Yes, it would be possibly if they were still good, my ovaries and his. But I can't give that to him. And it's a mental battle when I see people having children and happy. And then I get really excited to have my grandbaby for the day, and it's excited we had her this past weekend. And it was great, but then when she leaves, that anxious feeling and that feeling that I'll never experience that all sets in, and right back to square one. I try to look at the positive. I try to find the best in the situation. I try to see why this is happening. Everything happens for a reason. But it doesn't make it any easier. And so these are a few things that on a daily basis that really, I think, make it harder for me to stay mentally sane and mentally in the right mindset. And I find this, it's not even just because I've had surgery and gone what I've gone through. I feel this is something you should never ask a male, a female, a couple, a new husband and wife, a couple that has been together forever, a single mother, or a single lady that's later in life. I don't think this is ever a question you should ask anyone, whether it be they've gone through something, because usually they're gonna have to tell you why, which brings up everything they've gone through, the anxiety, the emotions they've all felt through that. You bring that back to them. Or maybe they've been trying to have children and they can't. And I find it used to be in society, you ask, people got married and you said, oh, when you guys plan to have a family, you know, when are you gonna have kids soon? You know, any looks of kids in the future? And I don't personally ask, even if I know someone is pregnant, until they tell me. I don't ask them because I don't like that question being asked to me. I may know and have signs that say, I think she's pregnant. But until it is announced, I don't usually say anything because I know what people go through to try to have a baby, and pregnancy losses, miscarriages, and it really, if there's one thing that has bugged me, and if you can take from this video, is not to ask a person when they're planning to have kids or children at all. Some people really don't want to. Some people know they won't make a good parent, and that's fine. But every time someone asks me that, I have two options. I can say, oh, not right now. We're just kind of, you know, there's a lot else going on. And I kind of brush it off because, one, I don't think it's any of their business for me to tell them, oh, I had cancer. I don't want the sympathy. I don't want all that. I don't want to feel like that all day and anxious and emotional and everything I went through that year to come back. And by asking that simple question, that's what it is. But at the same token, I want to tell them that So maybe they'll get through their heads that maybe you shouldn't ask someone when they're going to have children. When they do, or if they don't, that is up to them, and it's none of anyone else's business. And this is one thing I found that's really bothered me, that people have always asked me, or if we run into someone, oh, when are you having children, or do you guys have any kids yet? And, you know, my husband and I have to sit there and say, oh no, she can't have kids, she had cancer. I don't want cancer to define me, but I feel to answer any questions, I feel that's what I have to do. And I just really think in society it has to change. It goes with anything, accepting depression, accepting that people have anxiety, and, you know, helping people. There's a lot that I go through day-to-day basis that, in all honesty, I know I'm not the same girl I was 3 years ago. I'm more sheltered. I'm more keep to myself. And I find it hard to be happy most days, and I put on a brave face. And it takes a lot, and like my last video, I've learned to look at things differently. But doesn't mean I don't have bad days and that I don't have feelings. And I think it should be all right, like I said, to express your emotions, and these are my emotions. There are some days too where I feel like I'm not even in control of my life, that my life is a blur, and that I'm not really where I need to be, and I feel like I'm here, but I feel like I'm screaming at myself to feel better, to move, to do things, and I'm stuck. I have a really hard time opening up about my feelings, and the pity, or people tell me to get over it like it was nothing. And in all honesty, you don't know the effect that that's had on me over these past few years, that, oh, you didn't really have, your cancer wasn't serious. The amount of times I've heard that my cancer isn't serious because I'm fine now. Tell that to someone who can't have children. Tell that to someone that in 6 weeks, she made the hardest choices of her life and didn't really have a choice in anything. That my cancer wasn't serious. If I hadn't gone for that Pap test and she did that results, I would not be here right now. I had a choice too, to just remove my cervix, have a child, probably be full of cancer, but have my own child. So tell me mine wasn't serious because it happened so fast. And the partial hysterectomy, luckily, that is a procedure they can do that can take all the cells away. But tell me mine wasn't serious. And that affects me on a day-to-day too. People expect me that I shouldn't feel a certain way, that I shouldn't feel this way, that, you know, I should move on and get over it. And like I said in my last video, unless you've walked in that person's shoes, you have no right to tell them how to feel. Because that, every time I hear that, breaks me more and more. Because it makes me hold everything that I am feeling back, because they make me feel like I'm not worth it. That it's not okay. And that I shouldn't feel about it. It's in the past, move on, get over it. But no one prepares you after cancer for the mental side of the feelings you have. I have a little bit of PSD, that I get really anxious and worked up and really sick. I physically make myself sick when certain things happen and are going on in my life. It just triggers things. I have trigger moments and things I can't control. And they don't really prepare you for this side. They just try to help you through the physical aspect. And I just wish people would be more understanding as a society that we have to stop judging people and stop putting people down and being there for them and caring for someone, no matter if you believe what they should feel or not. And I think that's one of the hardest things that goes through, and why I thought it was really important for me to make this video, as much as it's very difficult, because I hate feeling this way, and I feel like I'm being judged every time I feel this way. And I shouldn't. In all honesty, if I had the choice to go through chemo and radiation, or one or the other, I would have. That wasn't even an option. They said it wouldn't even work. That my only option was surgery. Physically, I am okay. I have my health. I'm really active in the gym. But again, they don't prepare you for the mental side, all the setbacks, your feelings, your emotions. There's certain hormones I don't have anymore, and sometimes I wish they just put me through menopause. A lot of times I feel like a failure and a disappointment to my husband and my family, that I can't provide him with something that I've always wanted myself. And I think it's hard for him to understand too, because he has a son. He's experienced this. He has a grown son. And he's like, you have a stepson, you have a grandchild. Yes, I do, and I love them both. But they're not mine. I'm the second one. I'm not the first one. I'm not the one they call mom. And that's something I probably won't experience besides with my dog. And it's hard for him to understand that, because he has that, so he doesn't feel the same way I feel. To make myself feel and know that I'm strong and that I can get through this. Yes, I don't want you to feel sorry for me. It's the mental side of it. I learn daily how to get through this and how to persevere and push past all these. Something that really helps me, and knows that, you know, there is good that came out of this. It's not all negative, as much as this video makes it seem like negative. I'm just showing a side of this that I really have not even shared with anyone, not even my husband. As much as I should. It's really difficult when no one knows and has gone through this. They're there and they support you and they helped you through, but they haven't gone through this, so it's really hard for them to understand. Like I said, unless you've gone through what they've gone through, you can be there for them, but you can't relate to it. Now, going into this new year, 2019, I'm focused more on accepting that I need help. I'm going to go talk to someone that's gone through cancer, and maybe get a different perspective and be able to share my emotions and go through what other people have done, opposed to trying to put it on people who don't understand. I'm determined to be happy, to maybe find peace of what has happened and be able to accept it and maybe not be so emotional with it. But I have my right to my emotions, and if that is how I'm feeling, as long as I make it through at the end of the day. And I have lots of things to be thankful for. Benson came into my life the day I found out I was cancer-free and that they had got it all. That's the day we picked him. My husband stayed at my side through thick and thin, has been my best friend for the last 10.5 years. And my family, my gram goes to every appointment with me up to Moncton and will take the drive up. So I'm not alone in this battle. And I just have to be more open and explaining how I am feeling mentally, opposed to just physically, because mental side you can't see. You can't see what is tearing me up on the inside unless I express it. And honestly, I have a hard time, so this year I'm going to work on communicating with my family and my husband on how I am feeling, and not holding it in and taking it all myself, because I feel that's what I was supposed to do. And this is going to be my quote. I found this quote, and this is going to be my quote that I go back to, I think, a lot this year. To live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people exist, that is all. So I'm not just going to exist. I'm gonna welcome mental health into my life. It is going to be here for the rest of my life. I'm going to learn to deal with it. I'm gonna push through it, and I'm gonna become the best version of myself that I can be. But the most important thing I'm taking from this, and from watching a lot of the Bell Let's Talk things, is I have to be open and honest with everyone. No one knows how I'm feeling. I don't even think my best friends know how I am feeling. And I'm gonna take this year to open up and know that I'm not alone and that I deserve happiness, whether it be just adopting a million puppies or maybe one day having surrogacy or an adoption. But I hope this video helps someone know that it is okay to ask for help with mental health if you are feeling any sort of way. Sometimes we don't even know that we are feeling this way, or that we really are not who we used to be. It is okay to ask for help, whether it be an anonymous phone call, a friend, a guidance counselor, anyone that makes it okay for you to talk to them, do it. It is okay. It is a judge-free zone. And I think by talking, even it's not going to make it better, but it is going to help you to get on the right path, and there's nothing wrong with asking for help. I'm just going to read one more thing before I go on cervical cancer, where it is Cervical Cancer Awareness Month. I just want to give you some facts before we go, but I can't memorize. Cervical cancer is most often diagnosed in middle-aged women, with half of those diagnosed being between the ages of 35 and 55. Again, I was 29. It's very rarely seen in women less than 20 years of age, but approximately 20% of cases occur in women over 65, demonstrating the necessities of continuing screening procedures. The 5-year survival rate of invasive cervical cancer is currently 67%, and improvements in screening and the development of vaccines have decreased the incidence of late-stage cancer. It is important to go for your Pap test at least once a year and keep up with preventing this disease. Remember, not all cancer is pink. Teal is the deal. So thank you for listening to me, to my feelings after surviving cervical cancer, and I'll see you in the next one, guys. Happy Bell Let's Talk Day.